I'll do the trick. Okay. So, good morning. Welcome. It is 9:16, just a minute late. Um, but welcome and thank you for being here. And this is a Friday morning towards the end of January, at least where I am and when I am. That's the situation. Pardon me for that. So, it's great to see you. Thank you for being here today. This is the Yoga and Recovery Friday morning Zoom class. And of course, these are being recorded and will be available on, YouTube currently, and maybe a different platform some other day, but currently available on YouTube for you to watch if you can't be here in person or, well, virtually in person anyway. So, last week we began a series. We're talking about the chakras and recovery and yoga and how they all kind of interconnect and intertwine. And if you don't know, the chakras are part of the subtle body system in yoga. They're points up and down the spine where the nadis, the energy channels that carry prana, intersect and intertwine, and they create kind of wheels of energy. And each chakra has its own functions and purpose. But you don't really have to be too into the whole esoteric side of yoga for this to still be relevant. Like you may not buy into chakras at all, it's totally fine. But it does give a nice kind of structure or a modality to view our well-being and our growth and healing and such. So they kind of correlate pretty well with the Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. So you can look that up if you're not familiar with that. But so last week we talked about Muladhara chakra, which is the very, very base of the spine. It is the chakra that is most closely connected to stability and physiological safety, just the real basics, just surviving physically. And as such, that's like kind of where recovery starts, right? Your first thing you got to do is just get stable, right? And then all through our life, we need to probably keep trying to recover that stability. As we drift off, things get a little wonky or crazy, and we need to come back to that stability because that instability at its foundation can really be a source of relapse or falling off the wagon, however you want to call it. Because that's the thing, where we're not stable, we're not safe, we're not secure, we're worried about that stuff. One easy response is to use a substance to make us not feel bad, right? Not make us feel unsafe, unstable, right? Or make us feel like I got this, I can handle it, when you're really not handling it at all. So so moving up from the Muladhara chakra, we get to Svadhisthana Chakra, which is located right around the sacrum, basically, right at the bottom of the spine. You have a point where the vertebrae basically have become fused into this kind of diamond-shaped bone called the sacrum. And so it's right at the back of the pelvis, bottom of the spine. And so people locate the Svadhisthana chakra right around the sacrum, maybe a little higher up into the pelvis, a slight bit, but right about there. And now the Svadhisthana chakra is more related, it's getting more and more refined as we go up. I think I just said that, right? The chakras get more refined in their functions and their energies and such, and more subtle as we go up the spine. And Svadhisthana starts to talk more about, more emotions and feeling, right? And how to put it, let's see. This Svadhisthana is the space where we start to move from that firm foundation, right? Svadhisthana governs fluidity, sensation, pleasure. There's a lot of creativity kind of connections there, and our relationship to desire, right? Desiring things. So it's a big one, especially the pleasure piece, right? It's the chakra that wants to just feel good, which has obvious connotations with recovery. So we'll just talk for a couple minutes and then we'll get to practicing. All right. Um, but it's not really about, chasing pleasure, right? It's not just about chasing sensation and feeling good, but it's more about kind of the right management of those sensations, right? Like, desiring things is not inherently, a bad thing, right? It's part of being human, it's part of being alive. Um, the next chakra up is where we start to feel empowered to actually go after the things we want. So it's kind of we're getting into this intermediary from, safety and stability to now feeling things and wanting things. Svadhisthana is a very, its element is water. So it's a very fluid area. And you kind of think of your lower belly, lower pelvis, this really watery region, right? It's kind of all squishy and soft and just kind of there's like the bowl of the pelvis holding all the organs. There's the bladder is in there, and the uterus, the our bowels and such are all there. It's just kind of squishy, watery realm. Stuff shifts and moves quite a bit in that region. Um, so so we're not like trying to eliminate desire, but we are trying to have a healthy relationship with desire. And Svadhisthana plays into that. It's the realm of emotions and cravings, longing, grief, joy, attraction, etc. So we want to have that all working properly in its place and not, where we get overwhelmed, right? That's a big one too. Is if it's things are out of whack in this chakra, then we become overwhelmed with emotion and desire, and we might go about unhealthy ways to deal with that sense of overwhelm. And with a healthy Svadhisthana, we're understanding these feelings are not commands, right? They're not telling us what we have to do. It's just the feelings are information. Uh, not commandments. So today's practice, we're going to work, when we work with chakras, we generally look where they're located in the body and we do poses that really kind of work in that region. So Svadhisthana, we're going to focus on like hips, pelvis, low back, and really just like paying attention to the sensation of it and trying to find healthy mobility in that region. Um, and not, just learning how to move to this place where, we've done a lot of self-harm. Now we're learning how to, act and do things without harm anymore, right? With no longer harming ourselves. And so each chakra contributes to that in one way or another. Okay, so I think that's about it. Well, that was a little longer than I thought, 8 minutes of talking. So we're going to go ahead and practice today. Well, I'll read that later. I have a little reading I might do at the very end, but if I remember to do so. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and sit for just a moment before we get started. Okay, so find your comfortable seat and sitting tall. And with your exhale, just let your weight sink downward, right? Look for that rooted stability of the Muladhara chakra. Let your legs be heavy, whether you're sitting on a cushion or a chair. I do suggest you sit on something to elevate you slightly from the floor. Always good to have hips just a bit above knees, a little higher than knees, to avoid gripping in the psoas, which can then be a triggering of the sympathetic nervous system. In any case, feeling your breath. And with each exhale, letting your weight settle downward. Allowing yourself to be heavy in your seat. Maybe feeling the pressure where your legs, feet, glutes, hips, where they touch the floor, touch the chair, touch the bolster. Feeling that is a way to really start to interact and embody our practice, to feel the body. I'm going to go ahead and ring the singing bowl 3 times, just to open our class. Going to signaling to the nervous system that we're moving into this kind of special time of the day, of our practice, of our life, a little outside of the normal daily life, daily time. 3 chimes, here we go. Okay, so to our mat we go. And today I do recommend having a yoga strap, a yoga belt, some blocks. I don't think we'll need a bolster, but always nice to have your props close at hand. So I do have a belt and some blocks. I like a blanket for some of the work. And if you have a blanket, I would suggest go ahead and just cover your mat right now, real quickly with the blanket. You could also, if you're at home or wherever you are, you could move onto like a carpeted floor. I wouldn't say go directly on a hard floor. Definitely get a little padding. The blanket is really just so when we do floor movements, we don't catch, right? You don't get you're not going to rub a little bald spot in your head by rubbing your head on your yoga mat. Let's adjust this camera angle slightly. Okay. And we're going to come all the way down to the floor. And you do not have to take off your socks if you don't want to. Your sacred socks. Okay, starting in Shavasana. And just release and let go. Soften and spread. Place your arms as wide as feels right for you. Then letting your exhale begin to lengthen. Just so note the inhale, the pace, and the duration. And see if you can let your exhale be a little longer or maybe twice as long as the inhale. Okay. So we're going to take our arms into a goalpost position. Still lying on our back, arms in goalpost, legs extended. You might bring your legs, hip width apart. Okay. We're going to start with some satya movements here. So there's somatic movement. Inhale, press your right heel away, as though you're pushing into the wall. In fact, you could push into a wall if you're right near one. And then exhale and let the right leg release. Inhale, push the left heel away. Might feel it like you're drawing the top of your left foot back towards your shin. Exhale, release the left leg and come all the way to stillness, right between the sides. Inhale, press the right heel away. Draw the top of the right foot back. And exhale, release the right leg completely. And you wait for your inhale to start the other side. So inhale to the left side. We're just going to follow that. Exhale and release. And going back and forth. Inhale, extending, pushing through one foot. And exhale, release. And inhale, push through the other foot. And then release. And once you start to build your rhythm and you figure out this movement, perhaps you've never done it before, just kind of figure it out. Once you have that rhythm, let's turn our attention right to the sacrum, right? It's the very base of the spine, the top of the pelvis, in the back, of course, back of the pelvis, and start to feel that sacroiliac joint there. There's a little connection there. And when we move, you can feel this kind of rocking on either side of that pelvis, a little like tipping of the sacrum from side to side, almost as if you still had a tail, like we probably may have had many eons ago. It would wag. There's like a little shifting from side to side. It's a very healthy way to get the sacroiliac joint moving without being in gravity, without putting a lot of strength into it. To just feel that and feel that wateriness, kind of the sloshiness, the very back of the pelvis, base of the spine. I'm just going to add a little something to this just to bring some upper body work in. So the next time you're on the right side, push right heel away, slide and extend right arm straight overhead. A nice long side body. Exhale, return all the way back to the start. Inhale, left heel pushes away, slide and extend left arm. You might tip your head away from the arm that's extending. Exhale, left. Inhale, other side. Press out through the heel, reach through the hand. And return on your exhale. Just one or two more of these. Alternating side to side. This is where the blanket's nice. So let your arms slip on the floor. So let's finish up on the left side. When you're done with the left side, just release and pause. As I was saying, the blanket lets you slide and kind of brushes your skin when we do this work, which helps move lymphatic fluid and kind of stimulates the nerves, especially in kind of areas maybe you don't often get the stimulation. Let's take our feet to the floor with knees bent, arms, just interlace hands behind head. If that's comfortable for you. If it's not comfortable for you, just keep the goalpost arms. And let's extend our right leg onto the floor, keep the left knee bent. Again, remember we're kind of mobilizing the low spine, the hips, the pelvis here. So with the right leg extended, left knee bent, left foot on the floor, inhale. Swing that left knee over to the right and you rock to your right outer leg. Okay, try to keep left shoulder blade on the floor. Exhale, swing the knee back up. Inhale, swing the knee to the right, roll to right outer leg. Maybe really bring that knee down, get some compaction in the pelvis, the inner leg, inner groin. Exhale, release. And so following your breath, absolutely no need to hurry. In fact, hurry is counterindicated here. Exhale, release. Just a few more. Again, we're mobilizing the hips, the pelvis. You might start when you tip your knee over, pushing that knee towards the extended foot. So in this case, left knee pushes towards right foot. Exhale, return, release completely all the way to zero. One more time, inhale, swing the knee to the right, roll to right outer leg. Maybe push left knee away. Exhale, return. Let's take our right foot to the floor, right knee bent. Extend left leg, and we'll do 6 or 7 on this side. Inhale, swing right knee to the left. Right shoulder stays heavy on the floor. And exhale, return. Moving at your own pace. Inhale, swing the knee. Again, little downward kind of squish. Bring that knee, that leg down. Kind of squeeze in there. Exhale, release. Inhale and move, perhaps starting to also press that right knee towards left foot. And release. Couple more. Follow your breath. Listen to your instinct on whether you should go a little deeper or back off. Don't listen to your ego. Listen to your intuition. And before we finish again, just feel that kind of rocky, sloshy quality as we rock on the back of the hips. And then all the way back, let's go back into a Shavasana. And whenever we go into a Shavasana or Tadasana or really any pause between poses or movements, I invite you to check in and notice whatever sensations may be arising. So let's go ahead and take feet to floor, knees bent. Let's pick up our right foot. How about that? Cross it over your left knee. So you're like in a figure four here. Go ahead and take your right hand. Okay, so right knee is up here, sticking out to the side. Right hand, top of right thigh, right in the hip crease there, and press. Press, 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 press. Push that thigh bone away from the hip. And you're looking for like just a little space, a little opening there in the hip. And then gently releasing that pressure, but see if you can keep that right knee kind of like swinging away from your upper body, right? Swinging towards the front of your mat. We're going to pick up our left foot. We're going to take our hands. One arm goes through this opening in the legs, other one goes around the leg. And so you're interlacing behind the thigh or interlacing hands in front of your left knee, left shin. Okay. Shoelace pose, some people call it. It's also known as Sukhirandrasana. Swing the right knee away, hug the left knee in, pull your feet into flexion, tops of feet draw back towards shins. Okay, pretty compacted here, right? Pulling in should be a feel good stretch. Now you might let the left knee drift away just enough to where you can find a small arch in your low back. Right, just enough for a little breeze to pass through, a ladybug to walk under you. Not much. Right knee swings away. Pull in the left knee. Don't give up the lumbar curve. Both feet in flexion, tops of feet pull back, and just hold here. Soft in the shoulders. Breathe. And release when you're ready. Feet to the floor, knees bent. Set up for the other side. Let's cross the left ankle, cross the right knee. Left hand, top of left thigh. Don't be shy. Push, 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 push. With big joint, big muscles. You know, our body is kind of built to be really pretty thick and robust at the bottom and get more refined as it goes up, much like the chakras. So, assuming it doesn't hurt, okay, we don't want anything to hurt. Go ahead and just push into that thigh. Make some space in that hip. And then slowly release the pressure. Keep that left knee moving away. Okay. And then we'll pick up the right foot. Again, hands can go around the thigh or around the front of the shin. Okay, whatever is best for you. And it may vary time to time, day to day. Okay, feet in flexion, tops of feet pull back. Hug the right knee in, swing the left knee away. Hug in, get a good stretch. And then soften the tension, pulling that right knee in, just so you can get a little arch in the low back. Okay. And again, here we are. So it's an interesting pose. Probably feeling it in mostly that left leg, maybe the outer leg, right? But again, a lot of compaction in the hips and the pelvis, the low back, a lot of pressure on the sacrum, right? A lot of this, all this lower body weight is kind of resting on the sacrum on the floor. And when you're ready, release, feet to floor, knees bent, staying there. There's a lot of that type of action here, right? Where you pressurize a region, like the pelvis in this case for the Svadhisthana, and then you release the pressure, and it's kind of like squeezing a sponge, right? You squeeze the sponge, you wring out all the old water, old stuff in there, and then when you let that pressure off, it sops up, all this fresh, blood or nourishment or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to grab my belt, my yoga belt. If you don't have one, use just a regular belt or something. We're going to go into Supta Padangusthasana sequence. So we're going to take the right foot towards the ceiling with the belt around the ball of the foot. Some of you can probably do this without the belt if you've done this a lot. Like if you've practiced enough to be able to do that. Blessings on you. Go ahead and take your belt around the ball of your foot, push up. Remember, you're not pushing a gas pedal. We're not pivoting the foot. Whole foot pushes up. Okay, back of the right knee opens. If you like, you can extend the left leg on the floor unless you have some sort of sensation telling you not to. And notice arms are basically straight, right? So there's kind of like a downward weight. I'm not like really muscular and pulling with contracting muscles, right? Okay, so there's some downward pressure there, pushing up into the belt. And just holding here for a second. Let's take the straps into our right hand, open your left arm into a T on the floor, and just swing that right leg. We're going to rotate the right leg. Tip the toes away from the midline, heel to middle. Tip the toes in, heel away. Tip the toes out, external rotation. Tip the toes in, internal rotation. Back and forth, back and forth. And again, feel that movement in the hip, in the pelvis, the sacroiliac joint. If you like, you can pick up some speed to build a little warmth and heat, mobility in there. Great work to do for anybody whose body is getting older by the day. Okay. And then just pause. Got a little bit of warmth, a little mobility there. Let's take the strap back into both hands. Let's just fine tune this thing. You can wrap the strap around your hands if the grip is getting challenging. Push up. Doesn't have to be straight up. It can be a way out here, right? The back of the knees. Not happy with what you're doing, your hamstring. Okay, start pushing up, pushing out through the left heel, letting the weight in the arms and shoulders pull down. Lightly tuck the chin, just to let the back of the neck be long, and gently, gently lift low back. Just the tiniest lift once again in the lumbar spine. And here we are, Supta Pada Gustasana 1. That reclined hand to toe pose. You know, if my arms were 2 feet longer, I'd be grabbing my toe. I mean, in the full pose, right? The leg is much closer to the head over time as that mobility comes into your life, perhaps. Okay. So releasing that side, you can soften the right leg just a hair here as we transition. Again, taking the straps into the right hand, open the left arm into a T or a goalpost, your choice. I always suggest stretch your palm nice and wide. We're all on phones too much, driving too much, tapping on keyboards. So open that left palm, all fingernails touch the floor just for a brief moment, and then just kind of soften, let that hand fall into its natural position. Okay, external rotation on the right leg. Tip the toes away just a hair, heel to midline just a hair. And we're going to very slowly lower our leg all the way out to the right, coming to a point of hovering. Wherever you hover is fine, perhaps just above the floor. I do say hover today. It's a morning class. Build some tapas, a little heat, rather than resting the foot on the floor, which you might be able to do, right? But let's hover just a bit. Keep some muscle activity going. Reach through the left hand, press into the right foot, extend through the left heel. Long back of the neck. Keep that external rotation of the right leg, right? Toe tips down towards the floor. My leg's probably off the shot right now. Sorry about that. Breathing here. Just a couple breaths. Live here in the integrity of the pose and notice your sensations. Svadhisthana, sensation. Notice emotion. Right? Hip work can bring a lot of emotional stuff for us. One more breath. Soften that right knee. Swing the leg back skyward. Swap hands, right? Left hand takes strap, open that right arm. I'm probably off camera, but I'm going to stretch this palm as wide as I can. Open the fascia of the hand, the palm. Kind of gets a nice little carpal tunnel release too. Pushing up into our strap. Pulled down with the left arm. More dead weight kind of than pulling, than muscular action. Extend through the left heel. Now we're going to bring that right foot just about 8 inches to the left. Just like where the outer edge of or the inner edge of your right foot is just kind of past your left leg a bit. Really looking for some engagement here in the outer IT band without going, without pushing it too hard, right? Tendons, they do not like to stretch. They're not built to stretch that much. So don't force it, right? We're not trying to do any damage there. We just want to find that little edge of healthy mobility. Couple more seconds here. And swing the leg back up to vertical, take the belt off, and just drop that right leg on the floor next to your left. Ah, marvel. How does it feel? Left leg, right leg. Right leg might feel considerably taller. Okay, going to the other side, feet to floor, knees bent. Here we go. Left foot goes up, belt around the ball of the foot. Again, wrap hands if your grip is getting a little much for you. Push up. Straight legs are great. If that means you have to be like here, that's fine too. But if the back of your knee or your hamstring are really unhappy, you just take the slight bend. No problem. Extend the right leg when you're ready. Push up, push up, push up. Pull down, pull down, pull down. Take the straps into the left hand, open your right arm and stretch your palm. And again, that rotation, toes in, heel out, toes out, heel in, toes in, heel out, back and forth. But we really want to feel the rotation all the way up into the hip, into the thigh bone. So it's not just your ankle and lower leg moving here. Feel that rotation all the way up the leg. In fact, ideally, it's like you're driving the rotation from the upper leg and the foot's along for the ride. Okay. So again, just working in that area, pelvis, hips. All right. And then pause when you're ready. Let's take both hands back to the straps, one in each hand. Extend through the right heel, push through the right heel, push up into your belt. Lightly tuck your chin, shoulders down, and a tiny arch in the low back. Here we are, Shuptapada Pustasana, one on the other side. As you're ready, straps into the left hand, right arm opens wide into the T or goalpost, whatever's right for you. Okay, we're pushing up in the strap, a little external rotation, tip the toes away, heel in, and open the left leg out to the left. Now I'm up against a wall, so I have to bend that knee. But ideally, right, left leg is extending, left leg is hovering. And I mean, some people will hover like way up here. That's fine. Some people, our hips can be really tight. And so you go where you go. Don't even trip if it doesn't look like me or anybody else. Right? Find your sweet spot. Keep that external rotation. Pinky toe tips more towards floor than ankle bone. Reach to the right hand. Press out into your strap. Light tucking of the chin. And that right leg is really strong. I'll stop talking for a second. Two more breaths. When you're ready, take a bend in the left knee and we'll swing that left leg back to vertical and just take the right hand to the straps, left arm to the T, open the left palm, push up into your strap, bring your left leg over to the right, just 6, 8, 10 inches, something like that. Push out through right heel, extend through the right left foot. Few breaths here. And bring the leg back to vertical, take the strap off. Lie in Shavasana just momentarily. And while we're here, let's just do a bridge. So go ahead and take your feet to the floor with knees bent. Time is ticking away, right? Feet down, knees bent. You might hold the rails of your yoga mat or prepare to clasp hands behind your back. Let's just do our bridge. So we're going to inhale, lift, and rise. Pelvis off the floor. Okay. Feel there's a little compression, right? The sacrum, the low back is kind of, it's the back bend, right? So the back body is getting shorter, contracted, the front body's opening. Tipping weight to the right shoulder, slide the left shoulder in more. Tip to the left, slide the right shoulder in. And yeah, you might really find good support if you hold onto the rails of your yoga mat, or you can clasp hands behind your back. If you clasp hands, try to have your forearms and wrists on the floor. Here we are, holding here. Feeling into the pelvis, into the Svadhisthana. Few more breaths. And releasing when you're ready. Let's roll to our side. Press up to hands and knees. Tiny bit of cat-cow, a little more spinal movement. In our cow, we draw down, pull hands towards knees. Cat, we draw belly up into the spine, push through the hands. Mobilize. Little wave function here in the spine. And then just pause. All right. Let's go ahead and do a little bird dog. So we're going to take our left foot back, and you might want to just keep the toes down, push through your heel, get a nice kind of stretch and opening there. And when the time comes, you pick up the left foot. Now we want the toes pointing at the floor. Okay. This front hip points down. Reach the right arm forward, palm to the midline, find your balance. And just hold. You might feel this work in your back, particularly around the back of the hips, the low back. Holding here, a few more breaths. And we're just engaging, working that low back of the hips. Moving, contracting, and release. Hand down, knee down, make whatever moves you like. Adjust yourself. You can also do fist down if your wrist gives you trouble. A lot of us have wrist issues. So the hand on the floor, you might be on a fist there. It's totally up to you. Hand or fist or whatnot is under your shoulder, right? You want that connection, shoulder, elbow, ankle, basically stacked. Stacked joints are happy joints. Here we go. Right leg back, right toes down. Stretch, pick up the right leg. Reach the left hand when you're ready. Find your balance. Maybe softly gazing at a spot on the floor helps with balance tremendously. And hold. It's a nice pose for like getting that real felt sense of things because it's, you can't, well, I can't easily look back and see my legs. So it might be drooping, it might be wide, toes might be out to the side, right? You want toes down, you want heel at about hip height. You're really just learning to feel that. Reach through the hand. A couple more breaths. And release. Hand down, knee down, big toes touch, knees wide. Back to child's pose. Compressing. Svadhisthana. And maybe the arms are long for a little back extension here. It might feel good. Or you can stack your hands, place your forehead there. Just breathing into your back body. Feel the inhale, stretch in this compacted front body, right? So the back body has to do the movement to allow room for the air to come in. Trying to rise up. Eventually we will get off the floor, right? But let's try this. So this is a challenging one for some of us. So my toes are down, heels are high. I'm going to sit back on the heels as such. Now, this may not be doable for a lot of people. You could always take a blanket. In fact, if you have a blanket on your mat, maybe now's the time to get it out of the way. Sorry for disrupting the pose cycle there, but if you want, take that blanket. You could kind of roll it up, make a log, place it right there in the crook of your knees, and sit back on that. And that can make this sort of tuck toe Vajrasana pose more approachable. Okay? So here we are. And let's take our arms, swing them to the side or reach them out in front. Up, 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 interlace hands, turn palms to the sky. So we're pressing up through the arms, letting our weight sink down into our heels, our stable base. Shoulder blades together, heart open. Play with the chin a tiny bit. Generally, right, we don't want to tip the chin away. My teacher often describes it like you're holding a ripe tomato between your chin and your chest. Just a little bit of a tuck. Not enough to squash the tomato and get tomato goop all over you. Ankles squeezed together towards one another. And of course, you come out when you need to. This can be really tough. I understand that. But let's build that over time. Capacity. And hands come down. Come on up out of there. Do whatever you like. Maybe you take your toes kind of flat and sit in Virasana. Or just make some moves. Make yourself feel good, feel right. Let's just do a little bit of more kind of compacting here. I'm going to take some blocks to the top of the mat. And I'm going to take my left foot forward, right knee down. My floor is pretty hard, so I'm going to pad my knee with a blanket. There is no need to harm yourself, right? To do that. The ahimsa, first principle of the 8 limbs of yoga, non-harming, right? You're not conditioning yourself to be tough here by putting your knees on hard ground. Okay, enough cross reaching. All right, so hands to block, front left knee bent. Because that right knee is on the ground, we can do this safely. We can lunge, inhale, lunge forward, lift your heart, right? Variation of Anjaneyasana. Try to keep your left heel on the ground, adjust your position as needed. Then we're just going to kind of rock back to a straighter leg and go back and forth. Second time, lunging forward, inhale, lift heart, exhale, hips back, folding in, turn inward. Third, let's do 5 total. So here's the third. And the fourth. Movement and breath connected. 5th time. Rock back. Come on, back up and switch. Left knee down, right foot forward. Same thing, 5 times. Inhale, lunge forward, lift heart. You can keep that right heel on the floor. Exhale, rock back. Now my right leg is all kinds of trouble. It's not going to get straight today. Inhale, lunge, lift. Exhale, rock back. Hold in. Third one. Fourth round. Of course, you're moving at your own breath, not my breath. Last time. And coming forward. Go ahead and just step your left foot forward, kick that blanket out of the way if you have something on your mat. And just put your hands on the blocks for a moment, a little halfway forward bend. Ardha Uttanasana. Feet hip width apart. And just open the back of the knees. And right, sometimes we have our arms kind of like out of the socket, out of the shoulder. So just draw the arm bone into your shoulder. Your heart will come down. And if that means you have to be up on fingertips or 2 blocks or whatever, just get a nice opening stretch here. And then soft knees, hands to hips, come on up to standing. Okay, into warrior 1. Clear your blocks out of the way if you don't think you need them. And let's step our right foot forward, left foot back. So remember, warrior 1, heel on the floor, crescent lunge, heel up, warrior 1, heel down. So again, we're in the lower chakras. We want to work on that real grounding capacity. So grounding through the whole foot. right? This, like when you have the heel up, it's got a lot of advantage. It's got great stuff, but it's not grounded in the same way. You might even try that, even pick up the back heel and just feel yourself, right? It's going to a head and then just drop the heel, right? And that back foot pivots, right? Kind of comes at a little bit of an angle. Bend your right knee. And remember, right knee doesn't go past the ankle. It's fine if it's behind the ankle. Remember, this is warrior one. So we're going to bring left hip around. It's not going to be square with the front hip, with the right hip, but it's coming forward. It's moving that direction. You can even pick up your toes to really ground that foot and then spread your toes, set them down. Heart forward. Inhale, swing the arms up. Maybe your arms just go up, holding kind of a magical ball of energy, or palms come together and you point your index fingers, right? Interlace fingers except for the index. Pointing up. Warrior one. Lots of kind of weight in the lower body and the legs. Feel that kind of like, imagine there's a weight in your pelvis. It's your counterbalance for the pose, grounding you, rooting you, holding your back legs super strong. Come on up and out when you're ready. Walk feet together. Let's go to the other side. Left foot forward, right foot back. And take your time getting there. You know, if it's the first movement of the day, give yourself some room, right? So here we are. Left knee bends, right foot's grounded, that outer edge of the back foot, nice and firm to the floor. You can feel that pointing. It's almost like you take that ankle bone and to the floor, right? Shoom, to the floor. We get a lift on the inner arch, ball of the big toe, firmly on the ground though. Okay, so we're gonna bend the left knee. Let's see, where am I at today? Get kind of low, okay. So not warrior two, right? Warrior one. Hip comes forward. You might even shorten your stance a little bit for warrior one. Find your legs. Strong, strong, strong. When you're ready, arms up. Again, palms shoulder width apart, or interlace hands. Point index fingers to the sky. And what is it? Energy going up out of your fingers, energy coming down through your fingers. Again, feel that kind of weight in the pelvis, that downward as though it's a stone, kind of helping counterbalance and hold you down, weigh you down, secure you. Couple more breaths. Back hip coming around. And release. Rise up. Walk feet together. Let's just do a little more here. Stepping our feet nice and wide. Time's running out. About 10 minutes left in practice. Wide-legged stance. Wide-legged forward fold. Again, see where you're at. We've done some hip stuff. You might get a nice wide stance. Maybe you don't. Okay. Should have told this before. Let's grab our blocks. You might want them. You don't have to have them. But if you have your blocks kind of in front of you, wide-legged, long edge of your mat, hands on hips. Okay. Bend your knees just a bit and then mush into the ball of the big toe to re-straighten those legs. Again, making sure the outer edge of the foot is down, root to the floor. Draw up the inner edge of the legs. Hands can go to blocks. So again, arm bones in sockets. Heart comes lower, sternum comes lower. Shift from balls of feet to heels a few times. Find your sweet spot. And then you can always bend your knees once or twice and re-straighten your legs as well. Right? You want to feel your hips lift in the back, right? Lots of drawing up there in the hips, like a pulling down in the hip flexors. Now, many of us cannot get our head to the floor in this pose. So I'm going to suggest you take your blocks, build yourself a little tower, and just fold and let your kind of just just past your hairline, right? Just above your hairline. Touch the block. Hands on the floor or hands holding your ankles. Strong legs, hips are lifting. And once you've been here for a few breaths, you're like, oh, maybe I just adjust my block tower, change my construction project, come a bit further. And breathe here. And don't be shy. Let there be a little pressure, that point of contact on your head. It'll release a lot of tension in the sutures of the skull that we probably don't even realize is there. Oh, 3 more breaths. And let's not fling ourselves back up off our support. Just slowly start to lift and rise. Maybe your back is parallel to the floor. Maybe you walk your hands onto your block. Start to press up higher still. Walk feet together. And come on up to standing. And just stand in Tadasana. Just feeling into the Svadhisthana region, kind of below the navel to the sacrum, backside of the body. Feel that watery realm. Maybe eyes can be closed for this. As you breathe, let the prana flow into Svadhisthana Chakra. Trying to find that balance, that harmony of healthy pleasure seeking, healthy sensation seeking, all of it non-harming, all of it truthful. And coming out of Tadasana, let's come down for one quick seated twist. I suggest sitting on a block. Cross-legged is great. You could also sit in Virasana, shins to the floor, legs parallel, heels behind you. And let's just twist over to the right. So take left hand and right leg, right hand to either the floor or a block, depends on your body proportions. Just kind of find your way in here. Keep our chin over our heart for the moment. Let your weight be down. Right? Little grounded connection there. Once you have those stability or stable legs, then we rise. Like a pushing into the block, heart lifts, twist maybe a little further if you like. And the neck thing, right? You either look towards your right shoulder or you look towards the front of your seat. Always explore, always play, grow tall and twist, and release. Back to the front. Let's go to the other side. Left hand behind you, right hand to left leg. Exhale, weight settles down. And inhale, lifting heart, lifting crown, twisting. Here we are. How does it feel right here? Kind of between, right between navel and pubis bone. right below navel or in the sacrum. How's your sacrum? Release back to the front, clearing the props off the mat. Let's come down. Final rest here. Shavasana. Feet down, knees bent at first. How about? Start there. Let your back, sacrum, boom, drop. Weight in the back of the pelvis, back of the hips, firmly connected. Maybe hug in. Compact, compact, right in there. Maybe rock side to side. Move the fluid, move the water, the lower abdomen, pelvis. Massage yourself, massage your low back. And when you are ready, extending legs, arms. Really just find your final resting pose. That could be legs up a wall, legs on a chair, bolster underneath. There's so many varieties, but Shavasana will never do you wrong. And lying in Shavasana, soften, release, and spread. Perhaps rock your head side to side a few times. Kind of tease out some length in the back of your neck. And we don't want the chin rocking away from the chest. If you find yourself doing this, you're going to want to grab like a little blanket pillow or something. Wrinkles in your blanket, wrinkles in your practice. But if you need a pillow, use a pillow. If you need eye covering, use eye covering. Here we are. I'll shut up. I'll ring the singing bowl when it's time to start coming out of Shavasana. And with that, very slowly starting to move. Lots of care and lots of time, rolling to your side body with bent knees. A few breaths lying on your side. And pressing up to seated. Finding your comfortable seat. Just like the beginning, full circle, right? Exhale, let your weight come down. Inhale, let your heart rise. Chin lightly tucks. Here's that reading I mentioned. It's from the Bhagavad Gita. It is chapter 2, verse 39 and 40. This is Krishna speaking to Arjuna. You have heard the intellectual explanation of Sankhya, Arjuna. Now listen to the principles of yoga. By practicing these, you can break through the bonds of karma. On this path, Effort never goes to waste, and there is no failure. Even a little effort towards spiritual awareness will protect you from the greatest fear. Bhagavad Gita. Great, great, great thing to read. In terms of recovery, right? On this path, no effort is wasted. Everything you do inches you towards that goal you seek to attain, that healthy desire of living in recovery, free from self-harm, and all of the stuff that encumbers us, that contributed to our, using, drinking, whatnot, moving towards liberation from that. Okay, so thank you all for being here, and thank you if you're watching the video later. Feel free to send me some questions via email or on the social platforms, and we will see you next week, Friday, 9:15 Pacific time. Okay, take care.